Hello and welcome to Beyond Common Business Secrets. Congratulations for being here. We have one of my favorite Tracys in all the world. Tracey and I met literally in different female groups, and she's like one of my first, probably I would say my very first uh, friend that came about because of social media. So she was the person that changed everything for me to actually teach me, who I'm kind of closed off in that way. You guys know from hanging out with me on Beyond Common Business Secrets. The thing is that I'm so excited to share this guest with you because I've seen her grow by leaps and bounds. As her friend, I'm so proud of her. As just another female entrepreneur in the same space, I'm in awe and so grateful to learn from her and grow with her all the time. So, Tracy, I'm so excited that you're here. I just want to welcome you. Welcome, Tracy, to the podcast. Can you just say hello and then I'm going to do your major intro?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So Tracy is the CEO and founder of Tracy Beavers Coaching. Tracy has a proven track record in marketing, sales, business growth. She would not tell you this, but she is like a major networker connector. So if you need more of those people in your life, you need to get in Tracy's Facebook group because she's awesome. So with an award-winning career spanning 20 years and a multi-six-figure business, Tracy has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs with everything from overcoming the fear of sales and growing their business's visibility through organic marketing strategies. She has been honored nationally by Vanity Fair. This was awesome when this happened last year. The Vanity Fair Lingerie as the support award winner for women in entrepreneurship. It's just amazing, Trace. That was just the coolest campaign ever. I loved everything about it. She's a published author. She's been featured on top business podcasts and has been a regular contributor on one of Hometown's premier TV shows. Kajabi looks to her as one of their expert coaches for small business owners, and she is the creator of two online programs, Business Visibility Made Easy and Be a Confident Entrepreneur. So round of applause that we are so blessed to have Tracy with us today. So, Trace, how are you? This
I'm
might be
good.
confusing for everybody. Trace, like
Right.
it's gonna be fun.
Exactly.
It's gonna be
Exactly. But
fun.
you have the cooler spelling though. You're a CEY. I'm just a plain old CY. I always wanted to be a CEY or a CIE or something fancy, but alas, I have the boy spelling of Tracy.
You know what is hilarious? That's so funny because everywhere as a kid, I would have disagreed with you. I would have totally wanted to see why, because I couldn't find my name anywhere.
Yeah, that was tough.
Anywhere. I think I was like, I don't know, 20 when I
Uh-huh.
finally found a keychain that
Yeah.
had my name spelled right. And so I bought it. I think I still
Yeah.
have it. But my dad used to always say that because he was the one that did that.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, I don't know, ask your father. That was like always her thing. And
Right.
he like to him, he was like, that's the way it's supposed to be spelled. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know you were like a major grammar person. But but that's funny because when I did research on it, they said that CEY was the boy way and CY was the girl way.
Oh,
But you're
really?
telling me the opposite. So I'm like, that's so funny.
Yeah, yeah. CY is the boy spelling of Tracy, is the masculine spelling.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, another fun fact, one of my absolute best friends growing up, she lived 4 houses away from me.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Tracy. Go
Oh,
figure.
funny.
Her name is Tracy. And she's CIE.
Yes, also
Like
fancy
the
spelling.
fancy, and she could put the heart over her eye at the
Yep.
end. And I was
Yep.
like, oh man. And she had
Yeah.
beautiful, I don't know why I'm saying it like had. So Tracy has beautiful writing. Like she has the little hearts over her little eye at the end of her
Yeah.
name. So cute.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, or CEE. There's another
Well,
one.
isn't that so funny? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
remember as a kid though, my sister's name is Jennifer. So this is gonna date me, but everyone listening, it's like you might remember this. We would watch Romper Room and they
uh,
would always say, I see Jennifer. They never said Tracy. It was like I never met another Tracy until I was maybe, I don't know, fifth grade. And then after that, I had a ton of friends named Tracy. Like
yeah.
it got bigger as I got older.
Right.
At
Right.
the
That's
beginning of my
nice.
life, I thought no one had my name. Did you have that experience?
Um, I didn't really think about it. Now that you mentioned it, I'll tell you what experience I have is that people call me Stacy all the time,
Oh, same,
all the
same.
time. And I'm like, what in the world? I'm just like,
You
no.
know, when I got my first salon job, like my very first salon job, I think I was like 16, and there was another Tracy there, and she spelled it C-I, okay? And they wanted me to change my name because like people would know you about, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It felt so inauthentic. Talking about
Crazy.
being authentic in business, I was like, no. They were so pushing. They literally had cards made and they were calling me Lacey. I'm like,
No,
absolutely not.
no.
Well, it's so funny. One of my favorite clients in all of my life, like her name was Lacey. And I remember it's so funny. I was like, would you have still come to me if they really changed my name and we were both Lacey? Like that would have been so weird.
Yeah.
But to this day, if I'm out and about anywhere and someone calls me Tracy Marie, my sister freaks because that's what they called me. Like she's just like, oh, she just remembers that time in life
That's
where
funny.
like I worked there for 5 years. So it's like there are
Yeah.
people still that will call me Tracy Marie after all these
That's
years
funny.
because that's what I had to go by. But
Right.
so
Right.
that was my compromise. I
Yeah.
used my full name. But yeah, there I was like, I'm not coming up with a stage name. I'm not doing that. It's just like not for me.
So funny.
Right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like that. It's like even then, I felt very, it's just very clear on what's right for me and growing my
Yeah.
business. And that's so much of what I think you do really well is
Thanks.
like you're really clear with your authenticity. So can you share with us a little bit about your company and what you've been working on? Because you're doing so many cool things.
Thanks. Yeah. So it's Tracy Beavers coaching, and I started years ago um, building this business alongside my full time job. I had a very long career in corporate, in marketing and sales and business development. And I just got completely fed up with the corporate culture. It just didn't fit me anymore. But I couldn't just leave because we're a two income household, and there's no way in heck I was going to go to my husband and go, hey, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to quit my 6-figure salary and I'm going to make no money for a while. Couldn't do that. So I decided to build this alongside the full-time job. And it's evolved over the years as our businesses do evolve. That's one thing that I finally got clued in on early on. I kept thinking, the faster I run, the faster I build, the faster I'll get it done. And then I finally woke up one morning and was like, this business is never going to be fully built. Why am I running myself ragged? So, but as you mentioned, I am all about authenticity. You'll hear me say that a lot. For anybody that wants to connect and follow me, authenticity is very important to me because I do believe that when you are your authentic self and you are doing things that are in alignment for you with your gifts and your talents, that's when the universe opens up and the goodness starts to flow and things start to click. I'm also all about building with ease. So I am a simple person. I don't get fancy with things unless I have to. So if I can find a simple way to do something, I want to do it.
I
But
love that.
yeah.
I love that. So, Trace, one of the things I loved that you have really focused on from where I have sat from afar, right? Is that you really have been really crystal clear about organic growth. So
Yeah.
can you share, because I know a lot of our listeners
Mm-hmm.
are people that have a in-person business, right?
Yeah.
Like so some of them are brick and mortar, some of them are coaches that just have a really established practice.
Mm-hmm.
I know we even have some doctors, but mostly everybody, as far as the information that you guys have answered the surveys, this is what we are. And so if there's different out there, please reach out, let us know, because I always like to be updated on our growing audience. But the majority are service-based business owners.
Mm-hmm.
So even like medical practices and some skincare clinics, but service-based.
Yeah.
And one of the constant questions we get all the time
Mm-hmm.
is, okay, I want to take my business online
Mm-hmm.
or develop another arm.
Okay.
So I know that's been part of your journey. So can you walk us through what that organic piece looks like? Because I really feel our audience would be really vested in that.
Sure, absolutely. So I am a visibility and organic email list growth strategist. I am a business and sales coach, but that's my specialty, is helping online entrepreneurs get visible so they can grow their email list, because that's where the money is made. The income, the stable, consistent monthly income, comes from that email list. And so when it comes to organic strategies, I am all about them, because I had a very painful experience with with paid ads on Facebook. Very painful, to the tune of thousands of dollars wasted that didn't result in any conversions. And despite hiring experts to help me, who came highly recommended and had success for other people, they just didn't work. And so I had to kind of say to myself, okay, you have built multi-million-dollar businesses for corporate, when I was in corporate, millions in portfolio growth, market share all over the place. How did you do that? Because you never had to run a paid ad when you were marketing, right?
Right.
So I just went back to the drawing board of everything that I had learned about sales and being successful in sales, and incorporated that into organic strategies that I use. I'm primarily on Facebook. That's my jam. You'll see me over on Instagram. You'll see us over on LinkedIn. But my playground is Facebook. But I took all those strategies and just incorporated them into the Facebook platform. And that's what's brought me success. So I have an over 6-figure year business with an email list of about 2,800 people, and, organic strategies. So,
Yeah. So good.
yeah.
I love that. I think that is what we bonded over originally. When you said that, I was like, oh, I was just thinking back, because that was my same experience. And I've shared that often on the podcast, that even though I paid for the premium, like I paid the best experts.
Yeah.
And I had great content. I had great idea, like I had all the pieces, because I had been very successful in other industries, that the transition seemed simple, but that did not work for me.
No.
And if I wasn't the type of person that is kind of resilient, where like, okay, if I got hit by a car, all right, that backed up over me.
Right.
Okay, well, it's in reverse. Okay,
Right.
well, I'm still get up anyway. Like, so if I wasn't like that level of crazy resilience,
Yeah, me too.
I don't know that I could have handled that. So that is why I'm just really passionate about speaking out about the fact, even if the first strategy, the first thing you did, didn't work out,
Right.
that might have been what we would call okay, it wasn't the ideal outcome, but you're not a failure. Like, it's just one little thing of what not to do on the journey.
Yeah.
So I think now, going back, because I feel like I've known you for so many years now in this like online world, but I think that's what I think somehow we bonded in a group. And it's just funny, because you were like, hey, do you want to like have a coffee chat? And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, it was just fun. But I don't know if I just never really realized that people would actually be authentic. And even though I had used social media way back then to grow my other in-person businesses,
Right.
I don't like, I had like a stigma, and I had a stigma about it. Like, I had this concept of like, my parents told me not to ever walk in a room and just make it about me and start yelling. And that's what social media felt like for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I realized, like, so I had to get over that. And honestly, it's like you and a couple of other people that I connected with in those very beginning years, are really like the pillars of how I got over that. It was like, no, you can actually build friendships. People that, oh my goodness, when you see each other per person at the airport, like after knowing each other online for a long time, it's like a crazy thing.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. It feels like, so my clients and students feel that way too. They're like, I don't want to be the loudest voice in the room. Even though my voice is loud and I'm an extrovert. I don't enter the room that way either. I mean, that's not the way we were taught. Right. And, but it feels that way in the online space. It literally feels like you are standing naked on the side of the interstate with a big sign that says, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And when I shared that with my students in the group last round, they were like, oh my God, that's exactly what I feel like. And we think that everything we post, comment, like, heart is being seen by everybody on the platform, like every move we make.
Yeah.
And the reality is that nobody's paying that much attention to us.
No,
And, and if they are, we'll stalk her and I'm going to block them. But yeah, it feels like, and also my students will tell me, I feel like a broken record. I feel like a broken record sometimes too, talking about my 8-week group coaching program, talking about my free Facebook group, talking about visibility and email list growth strategies and all the things I teach. I'm like, I feel like this is all I ever talk about and that people are going to get sick of it. And what's funny is I still have people that'll say, wait, you have an 8-week group coaching program? Or
well, I didn't know what you do. Wait, what do you do again?
Oh, right. Oh, you have a free Facebook group? I'm like, seriously, I've been talking about this for, I feel like my entire life until I could throw up, and they still, you know what I mean? So they're hard paying attention. First of all, a very small percentage of people on social media actually see what we post.
Right. Everything. It's like, I think it's 2.7% currently.
Yeah, probably.
Of all, like, so however many followers you have on each one of your accounts, 2.7 was the most updated version that I read recently. 2.7 of them are actually see it. So, but this is interesting that you brought this up, because this is a tried and true leadership technique that I remember teaching years and years ago, and it's still so true now, that when you are so sick of your own voice, and you cannot even stand it, that is when people are just starting to pay attention. So it's exactly when you haven't, when you're working in a group, in a team environment, you have a bunch of employees. It's the same. So it's the same way with social. So that's so funny that you use that as the way to explain it, because that is kind of in the back of my mind. Nobody, when I'm so sick of myself that I want to grow up, that is when people are just like, it's fine. Like, it's kind of sparkly and new to them right at that moment. But I'm so over it. I want to burn it down.
I know. Yeah.
Like, let's talk about something else. Like,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So that's like that leadership discipline of consistency, which I'm not always the best at, because I just want to make something else. But it's like, but I just kind of go back and sprinkle it in, right? And that's, and that is, I just think that you do it in such a beautiful way. Can you share your Facebook group, so people can jump in there? Because that to me is the perfect example of, like, Tracy has this amazingly engaged Facebook group, and it's authentic. Like, it's like not where everyone's trying to I'm never a big fan of those overt messages. I like a straight shooter. This is what we're doing. Like, you know what I mean? And so I would rather say, hey, I have this really cool thing. Are you interested in it? And be that upfront, than dancing around. Like, if it's all you, but those like weird overt things that are like, why are they asking that question? They just want to know if, and so I don't see that in your group, and I love that. So can you share your group with us?
Absolutely. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible, Grow Your Email List and Your Income. And we have over 2,500 online entrepreneurs in there. It is, I am told, I mean, not to sound like a braggy braggerson, but I'm told that it is one of the best groups on the platform. And it's for the reason that you said. The people that are in my group are warm, kind, supportive people like you and I that want to succeed, want to cheer on other people. And you can promote your offers anytime in my group, and I was afraid to do that in the beginning because there are so many groups that it just turns into a spam fest. It's just spam fest, and nobody's paying any attention to anything else anybody's doing. And so that's primarily one of the reasons why I created the group in the first place, because I couldn't find a community that I really wanted to be a part of. And I thought, well, okay, I'll just build my own. And so you can promote your stuff anytime, but it's not a spam fest, and you can get help with anything anytime. That's the other thing I love about it is, I don't know all the answers. I can't possibly know all the answers.
Absolutely.
But we have experts in there on every topic. And so if somebody's stuck in Kajabi, they can post. why is this not working in Kajabi? A Kajabi expert is going to swoop in and answer their question. And I'll tag people in the group too. Like you're saying, I'm a natural connector. I've tried to turn that part of myself off and I can't do it.
That's like your core genius. I am not that way. So I always am very blessed to attract those people to me.
Yeah.
And keep that about yourself. Like I'm more of like, here it is. This is it. And then I'm a mic drop person.
Right.
And then I just like get in my zone again. And I like had to work long and hard at accepting that of myself. Like, I don't like, I have a lot of amazing friends that are those connectors, and I can never be that way because it's not who I am, but I love and appreciate that within you.
Oh, thanks.
You know,
so like if somebody posts and says like the Kajabi help thing, then I'm going to get into the comments and I'm going to tag 4 or 5 people in my group that I know are Kajabi experts and connect, that person with the other person. Or if there's a member that joins that I know would be a great collaboration partner for another member, I'm going to make sure those 2 people get together and at least know each other's names. You know what I mean?
Love that. Yeah. And so just for clarification and reference, Kajabi is an online platform that hosts people's courses and groups. We've talked about Kajabi on the podcast. We talk about FG funnels. We've talked about Kartra. These are all different softwares that you can use to make your online business more functional for your customers. So just if people are like, oh, what is that? I just want to give a little bit. No. I know, like in any and every industry, there's jargon that we use, but that you have to remember that depending on what phase and stage our listeners are at, that, just want them to know. Right. So, Trace, I love what you said too about like, I can't possibly know everything. And that was exactly why we started these segments on Beyond Business Secrets that are like coaching the coaches. Let's come on and have like a really authentic chat about, what it's like to be in business and get a look behind the curtain. So what is something currently that like, I want to save for the end, like what you're currently working on that everyone's going to love. So let's save that. But can you tell me what your current, like maybe an area that you want to grow or something in your business that is a stretch goal for you that we can kind of like just do a little download on and see if we can come up with some fun stuff for you?
Sure. That sounds great. So I have had on my list of things for my business for over 2 years, 2 or 3 years now, to have a podcast.
Okay.
So for me, my piece of regular weekly content is a live weekly training. I've been going live every Thursday at 11:30 Central in my group, on my YouTube channel, on Instagram when it's just me. And that's been great. And I started with that because I was building alongside my full-time job and I needed to save time, and pushing the live button was a lot easier for me than tech is not my love language. And
right. Like doing all the tech.
I was like, no, I don't want to buy all the equipment. I don't want to learn the tech. I'm just going to push a live button and go live. But I have been told that I should have a podcast by lots of people. They love my content. They tell me, it's easier to consume on a podcast platform. I totally get it. So I've had this on my list for a while, but other things have been more priority until now. But I think in the next, this summer is going to be a really good time for me to get this podcast figured out. But one thing I have decided to do, I haven't decided on a name yet, but what I was trying to figure out was, how do I make this as easy on myself as possible? And because what I was visioning in my head was, I'm going live and I'm doing that, and I need to keep doing that for the algorithm and the reach and audience growth and all that. But then I thought, okay, then I'm going to go over to a podcast mic and basically re-record the whole thing again. And I thought, no, I don't want to do that. And so a friend of mine said, okay, just take your live content and make that your podcast.
That's what I was going to say. You can literally, and this was not possible when I started Beyond Common Business Secrets 3.5 years ago. It wasn't possible to do this then, but it is now, because this is the awesome thing about how evolved technology is. What is the best way so that you are tapping into that new market, but causing yourself no additional hard work, no stress,
Yeah,
is
exactly.
just strip the audio
Yep.
and put that on the podcast platform. I personally use it's called Buzzsprout.
Yeah.
I am not like, I've learned to be tech savvy,
Uh-huh.
but I always tell a story of like, I literally got to graduate early because I wrote a paper on how to do computers. They didn't even think I was smart enough to turn one on. Let's just be clear. And I was fine with that because I wanted to graduate early. I wasn't even getting the conversation of how absolutely ridiculous it was that they were giving me, that would be a whole different conversation today.
Right.
But over time, it was like by falling in a puddle because people were asking me to coach them and come teach them at their business. I'm like, what? Like I was forced into getting an email and then starting my first business because it's just natural evolution. But technology is not my jam, right?
Yeah.
I've learned to make it easier and I teach a lot on tech for people because of all the personal struggles I've had with it. But to make, like, if I could start over from scratch, I would have done but I didn't know that was an option, right?
Yeah.
It just was like, oh, for 20 years, people had said, oh, every time I would speak on stage, they would say, oh, do you have a radio show? And I would go, no. And I would just walk away. Like, it took me like 20 years of being asked the same questions. Or like, why don't I? Oh yeah, we can start one. Like I'm a slow learner in that way. So now, but you can just literally grab the audio.
Yep.
Same thing, and just put it in a podcast format.
Okay.
And you're just going to extend that reach. Because what I have found is that we have a very tiny, almost nobody follows us on YouTube. And if you're listening, you need to be following us on YouTube. Please help a sister out. It's Tracy Cirino there, but because our people like to listen to the audio. So Beyond Common Business Secrets has been ranked in the top 5% of all podcasts in history.
Nice.
And that will continue to go strong, right? And that's just an interesting thing about the type of listener that you have, right? So you already have people that love what you're doing on YouTube and on Facebook, but just stripping it, and then you'll just have another audience. So it's like, this is the best way I ever teach content distribution is keep your main thing. And that's your repurpose. So you don't need to make so for us, the podcast is the main thing.
Right.
And YouTube is the extra.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I teach the same.
For you, it's the same. I know it's not funny, but you have to hear it from an outside perspective when it comes to you, because I can never see my blind spots, even though I teach it to someone else.
Right. I think, the holdup for me not only has been the time factor and other things being a priority in the business, but also just not having that light bulb moment when I thought, why can't I just strip the audio of the live? I mean, it's a different vibe and format, if you will, than the traditional podcast, which is what we're doing, which is the interview, just the two.
And then it goes later. Exactly.
And then you, all that, and it is very, very set, but there are lots of podcasts out there that are live. I mean,
absolutely, you could do it. You could have it be that way. But when you do live, what do you record on right now?
Well, I record on StreamYard, so I can just strip the audio from StreamYard.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I was like, I thought we did something before. Yeah, so StreamYard, it lets you strip the audio, so that is an easy thing. It won't require any change up from you.
Right. I think I need to wrap my head around so I was planning also on using Descript if needed, throwing it into that so I could edit it easier if I need to. I don't know. My lives are pretty clean. Like I follow the same format that I have for years. And I feel like if I added on an intro that said, hey, welcome to the podcast. This is my version of a podcast or something like that. I'm live every week. This is what you're going to hear as my live weekly training. Just letting them know that's why they're going to hear me say, hey, I'm live on Instagram and Facebook, and then the outro being, I hope you enjoyed this live training. And also I was thinking, I could put a call to action of, if you love this live training and you would like to catch me live and ask me questions about your business, come join my free Facebook group, because my Facebook group grows my email list like crazy.
Now you're making it, and that's funny that you're telling me this now, because that was on our list of things to add this year, was to go back to doing, because I used to do a ton of Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
I just don't that much anymore in our group. And so that is on our list. So maybe you'll inspire, we'll inspire each other to go backwards,
Awesome.
right? Like to go backwards, to go forwards. I love it.
Right.
So here's another hot tip for you.
Yeah, please.
Inside of Buzzsprout, and I can even I think I even have a referral link I can send you.
Okay.
Or I can even put in the show notes for anyone else that's thinking of starting their own podcast, because this is helpful for everyone. So here's the thing. You can set your intro and outro, so you only have to record that once.
Right.
Where in the beginning, when I first started this podcast, I had to say the same thing every time. So like, even if you like, because it wasn't an option yet, technology is so quickly evolving. I was like, oh, so, and I'm not very, I don't like scripts. I'm more off the cuff. I'm authentic in the moment. I just kind of know what, I don't know. Like if people come on with questions, so I'll get guests that are like, oh, well, what are you going to ask me? And they want to be like so prepared. And that's just the jam. Yeah. I am the type of person that like we authentically, what comes up is just always a better way to go.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because now, like, see just how even we started today, like the whole intro is already there. People know where they are. And I'm just like, oh, congratulations that you get to meet Tracy today, so that's the piece of like, you can make it super simple. And if you're not doing a lot of editing now with your lives, you're not going to have that much more. For you, it's literally like 2 extra steps. And the best advice I could give you is right now, start stripping the audio. Just test it out over the next few weeks and get a couple of backlogs. Like I don't know why I had it in my head when we started, but I had to have 8. That was just my security blanket. I created 8 podcasts. I don't know why.
Yeah. And I think that's best practice actually, is to have 6 or 8 in the can.
Before I knew any of that though. Like this was like there was literally nobody to ask. Nobody was telling you anything about podcasts when we started.
Interesting.
We couldn't even I was trying to hire someone to edit. We couldn't find someone. Like I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Which was not fun as a non-tech person. So now there's a ton more, there's just so much advanced stuff that you can in that way. So I would just start a backlog now before you even set the date. So you can just test, because it's only 2 or 3 extra steps for you.
Okay, cool. Tell me, you mentioned that you've been in the top 5%. How does that happen? Give me some tips on that.
So that for the way that happens is like our guests, like, so you're a guest, we send out an email letting you know that, hey, your podcast is going live. So it happens by you sharing it on all your platforms with your audience. It happens with you saying, oh, I had a really good time. And so you recommend other people like that. And then consistency. Yeah. So that, cause it's up and down, because we have like, over 10,000 downloads this time. And then all of a sudden, because there's changes with Apple and whatever. We always let people know that we really love when they do a 5-star review or any type of, even a conversation in the review spot on Apple or Spotify or wherever you're tuning into this is so much appreciated, because it authentically lets us know what's working. It's like, there's a lot of cost involved with producing a podcast and all the hours and work and all the things. So we appreciate that feedback, and that's just how it grows. So it's like, where I think the first time I'm like, oh, hello. I don't even know if I had a microphone the first time, to be honest. And it was like, is anyone care? Is anyone listening? And then all of a sudden you see, oh my God, there's 100 people. Oh my God, there's a thousand. So it just is like, you know what? I'm going to show up and act as if we're in an intimate conversation. And that's the same way I recorded my audiobooks as well, is like, I write in the way I speak, which is like, sit down and have some tea and chat about life.
Me too. Yeah.
And so I think you already have that approach, and that's going to come through.
Okay, cool. Nice. Thanks for that.
So
that's cool.
It's just like that, like, just like how you're saying your Facebook group. That's like how it took off with us for the podcast. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh, wow. They really like it. Like I don't like I think it's like 17 different countries that.
Oh, nice.
It's like amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So like share this episode with a friend, everyone listening, share if you have a business bestie or somebody that would benefit from all of the deep dive conversations that Tracy and I are having, share this podcast episode with a friend.
Yeah. So you mentioned the time it takes to produce. Tell me more about that. Like,
so when you are like, when you're starting out, you maybe don't know what your audience wants to hear yet. So there's that testing and research. We don't do as much of that now because we have an audience that tells us what they like. And go figure, we used to spend so much time on the guest ones are harder because you have to, it's like both of our schedules. We always want to time it with what's, so there's a little bit more involved in timing and in man hours behind the scenes of getting that right. And we, for a while, were spending all of our time more on that. And then this year, we, at the end of last year, we had some different surveys that went out, and people were like, they love Just Me podcasts. Go figure, because I like to learn about other people, but I just share whatever's happening. This is what's going on, like the energetic vibe I feel in business. Like I almost compile all the conversations I've had with different business owners, the coaching calls, the groups I'm a part of where we're evolving and growing, the ones I'm a student in, the ones I'm a teacher in. And that's been the tone of energy that's worked for us. Now that we've provided more of these Tracy ones, now they're like, oh, and we love the guest ones too. So I think you just find the groove of it.
Yeah.
And you're already doing all of that with your Facebook lives. So you're just adding for you 3 extra steps. I just, for the audience listening, I never want to make it sound, I don't like when gurus and so-called experts make it sound so easy that then you're sitting there thinking like, well, maybe I'm dumb because I can't do it. Because I remember feeling like that, and there's still people that I listen to sometimes. I'm like, wait, no, that's not true. That will never be that easy because that doesn't align with my energy. Like you have to pop yourself out of listening to every guru, right?
Oh, for sure.
And take it back to what's best for you.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it that way. It's like there are lots of steps in man hours behind the scenes. It's not like, oh, go just extract the audio and just go. You already have all those fundamental behind the scenes steps set up in your business. So I can say that to you freely. And then I can also say to the audience listening, hey, there's tons of research done on the back end. There's tons of man hours and how to edit and cut and write out just bullet points so that you don't like have glitter or squirrel syndrome that, oh, and go over there and then no one knows what you're talking about. You've got to know your talent and skill, and that does take time, but you have to start, right? It's like whoever's listening that's thinking about doing a Facebook group, doing a live or a podcast. It's like you have to start somewhere, but know there will be work involved.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, no, a business bestie and I were just having that conversation this morning. She said, if I see one more online, big wig, I call them the big people because I can't pronounce the word guru. But the multi-million-dollar people that just say, oh, we'll create it and put it out there and people will buy it. And I'm just like, no, there's a crap pile of work that goes into building an online business, So yeah, I get a little tired of it myself.
Well, and that's where like, I think that's like what my life purpose is. It's like to ask those questions that make you think a little deeper about it, because it's all truth in this moment. But as you get more refined, there's a new layer of truth. There's a new, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, you have to follow your authentic energy of like what is true for you and knowing what you want to accomplish. Like you shared with us today how you were crystal clear. You're a 2-income household.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be like, hobby, I'm doing this. You grew it steady. And I remember celebrating with you when you finally quit your job, because it was like touch and go for a minute. And then all of a sudden just rocket launch. So excited. Yeah. I'm just so grateful to celebrate that with you.
Thanks. So you have a podcast mic. What do you like? What kind of mic do you have there?
You know what's so funny? I recorded my audiobook for Beyond Common Business, Beyond Common, the 12 Essentials for Success in Life in the Workplace, that book. I recorded that during, I think I had to do the recording during COVID. So my sound engineer put a package together where I just paid him for everything. And then he dropped off stuff at my house.
Oh,
So
nice.
I think that's almost why I was like, oh yeah, now's the time to start a podcast.
Right. Right.
So I think it was kind of like why I ended up doing it. So I just paid a fee and all the stuff with my,
That's
of what I
cool.
needed to do. So I don't think that that's the norm. I think that
Yeah, no.
that's not the norm. But it just so happened to be that I had to record the audiobook and we had scheduled studio time, but then COVID kicked in. It was like March when the schedule was that crazy.
Yeah.
Because everything got pushed back, and that was a scary time. So for me, I really have I've had a good time with this. This is called a Audio Technica. It's been fine for me. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's a million of them out there.
There's so many. I was like, I could send you pictures of it. But yeah, so for me, it was kind of like, I love when that happens, when it's just, oh, it must have been meant to be because it was all put together that way for me.
Right, right. When it shows up at the doorstep, that's awesome.
Yeah, It was like, yeah, I had to pay X amount for whatever, and you just bundled it, and here we go. Yeah.
I saw on Apple the other day, there was a podcast that was recommended, and I went to listen to it, and it was a video. And I did not know that you could do that on Apple Podcasts. I was
they just launched that last week, actually.
Can you do that on Buzzsprout too?
Well, I already do it everywhere. So I was actually just telling
the video.
What's that?
Can you upload the video? Like, because I have a video of my live weekly training, and I'll have a video of my
you might be able to just upload that into Apple.
Can you upload that into Buzzsprout? Or does it have to be audio?
In Buzzsprout, it needs to be audio right now.
Okay.
It's not to say, so this is what happens. Like that change just came about. So that's kind of what I was waiting for. That's funny. So this is a little bit advanced for people listening, but here's the thing. Because that new update came out last week, there also will probably be where Buzzsprout and some of the podcast platforms will probably allow you to just upload your video, and then you'll be able to separate both. We use we don't edit, like the podcast itself and the video that go out every week for us are very raw. Like if your cat came across the screen, if the dog starts going, like we don't edit that stuff out. We do it real life, but we do make the sound quality better because sometimes like it's raining here right now. So it might not be as clear as it is when or somebody could be in a hotel, like just scheduling things and just technology. So the only thing we do with the audio is we run it through a sound enhancer to make the quality better. So that's just
in Buzzsprout, or is that a separate platform?
I do it separately, but now they do offer it.
Oh, okay.
So you could do everything right in there. So that's like one of those things. Yeah. So, okay. So
why did you choose Buzzsprout, if you don't mind me asking?
I did tons of research. I talked to 100 different people that had podcasts because I'm a giant nerd of research. And out of all the questions I had and things that I wanted to do, that was the most simple tech savvy, like for time, and it was the most cost effective and grow with you.
Nice.
And it's still the same now. So that's why, yeah.
Nice.
From a technology standpoint, I feel like they're like the Apple for podcasts. It's simple.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You know how like I just like Apple products better than some of the other ones because it's simple user for my creative brain. Yeah. So Trace, do you have any other questions about starting a podcast?
No, I'm determined to do it though. I've talked about it long enough. It's like,
yeah. So now
stop talking about it.
Well, now that we did a deep dive on it, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much more likely are you to do it?
Oh, a 10. I mean, I was pretty much at like 7, 8 before we started talking, but knowing that Buzzsprout's easy, you don't love tech either, and you can navigate it. And I feel confident about it. I just need to name it and,
yeah, absolutely. So you've inspired me. All right. I'm going to set a date I got to look at my calendar, so I can't do it on the spot right now, but I'll set a date for when I begin my lives again. And maybe I'll
Cool.
just, start taking, even if I just take the podcast episode and put it live for everybody,
Yep.
yeah, I need to do that. So you have some amazing stuff coming up in your business.
Thanks.
In addition to your new podcast that everyone's going to be waiting with bated breath to listen to. So that gives you some motivation, right?
Fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Yeah, I
Hopefully.
was like, so tell us what's happening. You have this huge thing that you're about to do in your business. Share.
Yeah. So I have an 8-week group coaching program. It's called Business Visibility Made Easy. It is the step-by-step system to grow an email list of your ideal clients without paid ads and without having to create yet another free lead magnet. And I'm on launch number 7 of it. It's one of the most fun things I've done. The students absolutely love the program. And every time we launch, I do free live masterclasses. And so I have those coming up. The masterclass has a very similar name. It's how to attract your ideal clients and grow your email list. And I teach 4 simple strategies that people can actually go implement that day, even if they don't join my program. I'm actually teaching people, which I hear from people all the time that attend my masterclass. They're like, this is refreshing. You're actually teaching me something, rather than just attending a webinar or a masterclass where it's all fluff and there's no real information. And it's just they're just pitching their program at the end. No, I teach you stuff. So, even if you don't join the group coaching program, come join the live masterclass, learn some things. There's 2 awesome exclusive bonuses that everybody gets when they show up live to the masterclass. And one is the Facebook Growth Toolkit to learn all of my best practices for leveraging every nook and cranny of Facebook. And the other exclusive bonus is new clients in 30 days. It's a new little training that we put together full of strategies and even mindset shifts to help people have quick success getting new clients.
That's
so I'm really excited about
I'm
it.
excited. I'm going to definitely make sure I'm at one of your master classes for sure. And I will make sure that we include the link for everyone to sign up in the show notes. Yeah, Trace, I'm so excited because I love that, like, one of the things I didn't know that I would love that I do so much of now is I write a lot. Like, I do it because I love to write. So I do a lot of copywriting, like email copywriting
Nice.
for clients.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, years and years ago, owning, my salon, we had always had to have emails going out, but I hated everything about the email list. And now I have found, like, it was like overcoming tech challenges, figuring out that it's really about developing a relationship and in that it's so that's so funny. I have quite a few clients that I want to share this with because I'm doing their email writing. And then if they can find new ways to grow their email list, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm writing a note for 2 of them right now. So thank you so much for being here. I literally could talk to you all day, but we want to make this digestible enough for, people on their walks and driving to work and everything. So, we'll include the link to your masterclass in the show notes. And Trace, what's the name of your Facebook group again?
It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. Get visible, grow your email list and your income.
Yay. I'm so excited. So join us there. And Tracy, thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate you taking the time to share all your brilliant magic with us.
Thank
and
you.
For everyone, as always, have the most beyond amazing day. And we cannot wait to see you on the next one. Take care.